Thanks to the gallery, to Henrique Faria, to Eugenia, to Alexandra, first for inviting Archivo Fotografía Urbana from Caracas to present un atlas for Elizabeth from Alfredo Cortina. It's the first time that this exhibition and Alfredo Cortina's work is being shown in the US. Before, it has been shown in Brazil, in Spain, of course in Venezuela, in Caracas, in Maracaibo, in Paris Photo. So it was giving a nice tour, but it needed to come to the United States and of course to New York. And what a better place than a Latin American gallery that has dedicated such a big effort to promote Latin American artists, and a big and special effort, of course, for Venezuelan artists. That's where Henrique Faria's Fine Arts and Archivo Fotografía Urbana meet and have a common interest. We both promote Venezuelan artists. In the case of Archivo Fotografía Urbana, it's dedicated to photographers, to authors either being born in Venezuela or that at some point of their life worked in Venezuela. Archivo Fotografía Urbana started about 25 years ago when Herman Cifuentes started collecting photography, first anonymous photography, family albums, and with the guide of Vasco Sinetar, photographer and curator, and William, the architect, William Nino, they helped him put up very impressive collection. Cortina is very fascinating. I mean, it's like a never-ending discovery, because you discover that he made these clocks, and the clocks that are part of the collection in the archive are also fascinating. He wrote, you can read the stories, he published books. He published in El Nacional, in the newspaper, until very late in his life. He lived 85 years, so he had a very prolific life. He was surrounded by wonderful people. First, his wife, the poet Elizabeth Shern, which definitely she was a collaborator. She's part of at least Un Atlas para Elizabeth.
And now, just going quickly now into Elizabeth and Shern's images that we have here. I would just want to say before opening it up that something that is important to bear in mind is that these images were part of Cortina's family albums, and they were never exhibited in his lifetime. The only exhibition that Cortina had during his lifetime was actually of the watches or the clocks that he made himself, along with ink drawings. It was in 1985 in the Felix Gallery, and it was called Time and Image. And the issue of time is key for Cortina. He was obsessed with time, because for him, time was more seen in a subjective manner. He would say constantly that he believes in time traveling, that if someone from the year 225 came to him, he would believe it, because sometimes that would be feasible. And this element of the fantastic and time traveling is also very tied up with his photography.
By the way, Lezama produces a very challenging theory of that. He's trying to explain music and art in Cuba in the 19th century, something that apparently has no present, no genealogy, and he basically says this is the way the image acts in history, by this absolute sudden that has to do with the potentiality of something to being, to come to being, to take place, and that actually is an act, and that is more important than what happened or what does not happen. And this is the way I see Cortina, this is the way I see Reverón, this is the way I see Aurora Rivas, this is the way I see a dimension of Ortega's work. I think there is a category here to be better understood, I think, which is a challenge. This kind of spontaneous that suddenly appears and transforms the entire understanding of a historical series of foreign photography in Venezuela. People have criticized us a little bit, saying that we invented Alfredo Cortina. Well, you have to see the pictures. And you know, there is a principle in epistemology that I always follow, and it's kind of proper. You learn more studying the object than or studying the product than studying or knowing the producer. We don't know what intentions Cortina had. We will never know that. But those images produce an effect, and they are absolutely systematic. They also make system in a way. So the compositional restraint, the seriality, the absolute control by specific rules to produce the image, the fact, and we were discussing that, are those portraits, the incongruence of cases that they don't see to each other, and that is a systematic thread in the process. So that makes a system, which is the Cortina system, which suddenly, I think, represents an absolutely unique chapter in the history of certainly Venezuelan photography, but I also think Latin American photography.
I would be interested in talking about portraiture with respect to Cortina. I'd be interested in talking about selection and the role that plays in understanding an artist. But for me, another lens through which I like to think of these works is grappling with the idea of the amateur in photography and what we call vernacular photography, meaning photography that wasn't intended to be a work of art upon its creation. Now, many of those, there are many artists who employ that vocabulary, let's say Walker Evans, things like that, but there are also many achievements that we think of as some of the great artists with a camera who made their work either on commission or as an amateur with no idea of an audience or a presentation. And those vernacular achievements I find an amazing lens through which to understand Cortina. And one of the things I'm working on now is a Brazilian amateur group of photographers. And so that's just another way in which we could approach Cortina.
Strike of luck that I would happen to be the one who received these 24 negatives to be printed in the old-fashioned way. The other thing, and that has to do with what you were saying about Cortina looking at the landscape and, you know, going to the country and this modern Venezuela changing landscape, it's not as present. Perhaps it's because, you know, when you choose 24, you have to give out a whole bunch, but we have to think about his age too. And he is, both of them are witnesses of a rapid changes that are happening in everywhere, in the landscape, in the way they move around, the way they buy food, the way they connect to the mountain, the valley, etc. And I say this because I come from someone who happened to be from that generation, and one of his preoccupations daily was, we're going too fast. We're going too fast, and I'm concerned about forgetting. So these people, Alfredo, he was concerned about what was going to disappear. He knew exactly, very clearly, that if it's either now or it's not going to be possible. So they had a responsibility with themselves. The other thing that I want to share is the secret. When you have a secret, you don't have the pressure. The only pressure is you. Now, here, two people have a secret. And they are creative minds. And there is a lot going on between the two of them when they are in a particular landscape and they provoke each other.
Thank you.